In ancient Greek mythology, there was a sculptor named Pygmalion. He became disillusioned with the flaws he saw in humanity, so he decided to create a perfection with his own hands. He sculpted a statue of a woman so exquisite, so lifelike, that he fell in love with his own creation. Moved by his devotion, the goddess Aphrodite brought the statue to life. And what began as a cold marble became a living, breathing reflection of his belief and attention. That story is more than a myth. It's a metaphor for leadership because, like Pygmalion, leaders have the ability to bring potential to life through belief, through clarity, and through intention. My name is Seth Yelorda, and I'm a speaker, coach, and consultant. I work with organizations and individuals, helping them to achieve their personal and professional goals. And today, I want to talk to you about the power of belief. Now, 2,000 years later, after Pygmalion was written about, psychologists put the same idea to test. In the late 1960s, they ran an experiment at the elementary school in San Francisco. Teachers were told that certain students, identified by a special test, were expected to show unusual intellectual growth over the year. What they didn't know was that those students were chosen completely at random. When researchers came back months later, the results were astonishing. Those chosen students actually performed better than their peers. The only difference was the teachers' expectations. Believing their students had greater potential, the teachers gave them more attention, encouragement, and challenge. They expected more, and they got more. This became known as the Pygmalion effect, the phenomenon where people rise or fall to the level of belief and clarity placed upon them. And leaders, like teachers and sculptors, shape the performance climate around them every single day. They do it through one of the most powerful tools in organizational life, goal setting. But not all goals are created equal. Some inspire ownership and effort. Others drain motivation and create confusion. The difference between compliance and commitment often comes down to how these goals are designed and whether they connect to what people actually want. Psychologists Edward Locke and Gary Latham spent decades studying goal setting, and their research on goal setting theory revealed 4 elements that consistently drive performance. Number 1, goals must be specific. Number 2, they should be challenging but still attainable. Number 3, they need to be self-endorsed, something people personally buy into. And number 4, they must have visibility of progress so that they can see how far they've come. Those 4 principles turn belief into behavior. They take the leader's vision and they make it executable. Now, let's start with the first principle, specificity. Vague goals like do your best don't direct action. In Locke's classic studies, employees given precise targets like increase output by 15% outperform those told simply to improve. Specificity creates focus. It gives the brain a clear picture of what success looks like. When people can picture the finish line, they can organize their energy towards reaching it. Now, as a leader, your job is to remove ambiguity. Define success so clearly that your team can see it, measure it, and move toward it together. The second principle is challenge. In the myth, Pygmalion didn't create his masterpiece overnight. It demanded focus and difficulty. Likewise, challenging goals push people beyond comfort and signal belief in their capability. Research shows that difficult but attainable goals lead to higher performance because they communicate confidence. It's as if you're saying, I know you can do this. The belief becomes fuel, but balance is key. Too easy and people get bored. Too hard and they shut down. The sweet spot is where effort stretches potential. It's what psychologist Albert Bandura called the zone of optimal self-efficiency. When the people succeed at hard things, confidence compounds. The third principle is self-endorsement. Even the clearest and most challenging goals fall flat if they don't feel personal. According to self-determination theory developed by Edward Deci and Richard Ryan, people are most motivated when goals align with their own values and sense of autonomy. Externally imposed goals may produce short-term compliance, but rarely long-term commitment. When people help shape their goals, they become invested. They stop working for the leader and start working with the leader. So involve your team. Ask the question, what does success look like for you? How does this goal connect to what you care about? Where do you want to grow? When ownership increases, motivation deepens, and belief becomes mutual. And then the fourth principle is progress. You have to make progress visible. Belief without feedback fades quickly. People need to see that their effort is actually making a difference. In organizational life, feedback is the oxygen of motivation. Locke and Latham found that regular progress tracking dramatically boosts engagement and persistence. Even small wins matter. When people see themselves advancing, their brain releases dopamine, reinforcing motivation and energizing future effort. So leaders can fuel this by making progress public. Use dashboards, visual scoreboards, or quick huddles that highlight wins and lessons learned. Progress seen is progress sustained. Now, why does this work? And why does this all matter? Well, goal-setting theory identifies 4 mechanisms that explain the power of well-designed goals. First, direction. Goals focus attention on what matters most. Second, effort. Challenging goals increase intensity of work. Third, persistence. They sustain motivation over time. And fourth, strategy. They inspire creative problem solving. Together, these mechanisms channel belief into performance. They turn possibility into progress. In short, clarity is what allows belief to breathe. Now, of course, not all goal setting goes right. Too many goals fragment focus. Unrealistic ones lead to burnout or cynicism, and goals imposed without meaning drain motivation. The best leaders pair high expectations with psychological safety. They challenge people while showing that they care for their people. They give direction, but leave space for autonomy. That combination, clarity plus compassion, is where extraordinary performance lives. So the myth of Pygmalion and the modern psychology in that classroom with the students and the teachers tell the same story in 2 different languages. Belief, when paired with clarity, creates transformation. Pygmalion's devotion turned marble to life. The teachers turned ordinary students into high achievers. And leaders can turn potential into excellence by setting goals that are clear, challenging, self-endorsed, and visible. When you set goals people actually want, goals they see, believe in, and take ownership of, you don't just manage performance, you bring possibility to life. And that's the power of clarity. That's the power of belief in action. If you found this to be helpful, I would love for you to hit the like and subscribe and share it with someone who leads a team. And remember, leadership isn't about commanding results. It's about calling potential into existence, one clear, meaningful goal at a time. Thanks so much. Peace.